It's really good. I love it. Shh. Quiet, please. Thank you. Anyway, hello class. Welcome to this first day of 2023 of the week's filmmaking lesson. So yeah, I'm Makoto Swatari, the new teacher of a film class. So all of you class 2 students are gonna work really hard and do what are you supposed to do, okay? Even if it's not working, you can just wait for me and I'll just text you if you can text me if you're having problems, okay? So on today, so this week we're gonna do the 100th anniversary of Disney. In 1923, Walt Disney has created a Disney film such as the closing of a Lavagram studio and put it into Burbank, California. So we're gonna do is do all those 4 films, okay? On today, so first we will be doing home re-releases. We will be doing those streaming services over that YouTube channel, okay? Alright. On today, we will be doing Pooh's Grand Adventure: The Search for Christopher Robin 1997 film. Here's the plot in this film. Once upon a last day of a golden summer, Christopher Robin attempts to tell his friend, Winnie the Pooh, some sad news. But Pooh is uninterested and continuously changes the subject until Christopher Robin forgets about it. After spending the day playing, Christopher Robin leaves Pooh with a quote, You're braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. But the drowsy Pooh does not understand the sentiment. Autumn arrives the next morning, and Pooh awakes to find a pot of honey at his doorstep, failing to notice a note attached to it. After eating the contents and staining the note in honey, Pooh searches for Christopher Robin to ask about the honey pot, but discovers that he is missing. Pooh's friend, Piglet, Tigger, Rabbit, and Eeyore have not seen Christopher Robin either and cannot decipher the note attached to the pot, so they go to Owl for advice. Although he is able to remove some of the honey from the note, Owl misinterprets it as a request for help from Christopher Robin, further mispronouncing the word school as skull. He deduces that Christopher Robin has been taken to a distant and dangerous place called Skull, a cave where the monstrous Skullosaurus resides. Owl equips the group with a map and sends them into the great unknown of the 100-acre wood. Throughout their journey through the great unknown, the group hears strange noises behind them, which they assume is the Skullosaurus. The group slowly begins to realize how helpless they are without Christopher Robin in the outside world. Piglet, Tigger, and Rabbit come to believe they do not have the courage, strength, or intelligence, respectively, to go on. Piglet is abducted by a swarm of playful butterflies in a tranquil field, leaving him feeling terrified and useless. Tigger falls into a deep gorge and is unable to bounce out to safety, eventually causing the others to dive in with him, and Rabbit continuously makes bad leadership decisions. Following Owl's inaccurate map, Pooh tries to comfort with each of the advice Christopher Robin had given him, but fails due to his inability to remember exactly what he said. When Rabbit finally breaks down and admits he has no idea where they are going, the group comes to terms with their failure and sulk in a nearby cave while everyone is asleep. Pooh privately laments on the pain he experiences from losing Christopher Robin. The next morning, the 5 friends realize that they had spent the night in the Skull Cave. The group enters and splits up to find Christopher Robin. When Rabbit, Tigger, Piglet, and Eeyore eventually reunite, they are scared away by Pooh's distorted reflection as he walks towards them from behind a crystal wall, mistaking him for a Skullosaurus. As Pooh winds up stuck in the small crevice, his friends believe that he has been eaten. They discover the Eye of Skull, where Christopher Robin is supposedly trapped for and overcome their fears and doubts to reach it. Observing his friends' teamwork, Pooh excitedly frees himself from the tight gap, only to slip down a long descent and fall into a deep pit that he is unable to escape. While there, he realizes that Christopher Robin is still with him in his heart, even when they are not together, just as Christopher Robin had promised. As Piglet, Rabbit, and Tigger and Eeyore enter the eye, they are found by Christopher Robin, who has been searching for them as well. He clears up Owl's misunderstanding of the note, explaining that he wanted Pooh to help himself to the honey pot he gave him, and that he was really at school, which is what Christopher Robin tried to tell Pooh earlier. The roars of the supposed Scalosaurus they have been plagued by were actually the noises of Pooh's stomach growling. After Christopher Robin rescues Pooh from the pit, the group exits the cave, only to discover that from the outside, it and the other places they have crossed are not nearly as big and scary as they seemed when Christopher Robin was not with them. In reality, they were all just illusions created by their fears and loneliness. That evening after the group returns home, Christopher Robin says that he will be returning to school the next day, but Pooh declares that he will always be waiting for him, and the two happily just watch the sunset, knowing they will always have each other in the sanctuary of the 100-acre wood. Alright, on tomorrow, we will be doing Bambi, 1942 film. Here's the plot to this film. A doe gives birth to a fawn named Bambi, who will one day take over the position of the great prince of the forest, a title currently held by Bambi's father, who guards the woodland creatures against the dangers of hunters. The fawn is quickly befriended by an eager, energetic rabbit named Thumper, who helps to teach him to walk and speak. Bambi grows up very attached to his mother, with whom he spends the most of his time. He soon makes other friends, including a young skunk he mistakenly calls Flower, who is so flattered he keeps the name, and a female fawn named Feline, curious and inquisitive. Bambi frequently asks about the world around him and is cautioned about the dangers of life as a forest creature by his loving mother. One day out in the meadow, Bambi briefly sees the great prince, but does not realize that he is his father. As the great prince wanders uphill, he discovers the human hunter named Man by all of the animals is coming to rushes down to the meadow to get everyone to safety. Bambi is briefly separated from his mother during that time, but is escorted to her by the great prince. As the three of them make it back in the forest, just as Man fires his gun, during Bambi's first winter, he and Thumper play in the snow while Flower hibernates. One day, his mother takes him along to find food, but when Man shows up again, as they escape, his mother is shot and killed by a hunter, leaving the willow fawn mournful and alone. Taking pity on his abandoned son, the great prince leads Bambi home as he reveals to him that he is his father. Next year, Bambi is matured into a young stag, and his childhood friend have also entered young adulthood. They are warned of turpitude by friend Owl, and that they will eventually fall in love. Although the trio views of the concept of romance was scorned, however, Thumper and Flower soon encounter their beautiful romantic counterparts and abandon their former thoughts of love. Bambi himself encounters Feline as a beautiful doe. However, their courtship is quickly interrupted by and challenged by a belligerent older stag named Rono, who attempts to force Feline away from Bambi. Bambi successfully manages to defeat Rono in battle and earn the rights to the doe's affections. Bambi is awakened afterward by the smell of smoke. He follows it and discovers it leads to a hunter camp. His father warns Bambi that Ben has returned with more hunters, although Bambi is separated from Feline in the turmoil and searches for her along the way. The two flee to safety. He soon finds her cornered by Man's vicious hunting dogs, which he manages to ward off. Bambi escapes them and is shot by Man, but survives. Meanwhile, at the man's camp, their campfire suddenly spreads into the forest, resulting in a wildfire from which the forest residents flee in fear. Bambi, his father, Feline, and the forest animals manage to reach their shelter on the riverbank. The following spring, Feline gives birth to twins under Bambi's watchful eye as a new great prince of the forest. Alright, on Thursday, we will be doing Lady and the Tramp 1955 film. Here's the plot to this film. In 1909, in a small Midwestern town, Jim Deere gives his wife Darling a Cocker Spaniel puppy as a Christmas present. The puppy, named Lady, grows up pampered by her doting owners and befriends her neighbors, dogs Jock, a Scotty, a Trusty, an elderly bloodhound. Meanwhile, across town, a stray terrier named Champ feeds on scraps and handouts and frees his dog friends Peg, the Pekingese, and the bulldog from the local dog catcher. Fleeing the angry dog catcher, Trent finds himself in the lady's neighborhood. He overhears a distraught lady conversing with Jock and Trusty about her owner's suddenly distant behavior towards her. When Jock and Trusty deduces this is because Darling is pregnant, Trent inserts himself into a conversation as a voice of experience and warns Lady that when a baby moves in, a dog moves out. Annoyed, Jock drives him from the yard. Trent's words cause Lady to fret throughout Darling's pregnancy, but when the baby boy arrives, she is allowed to meet and bond with him, dispelling her fears. Later, Jim Deere and Darling take a short trip, leaving the house, Lady, and the baby in the care of Jim Deere's Aunt Sarah, who brings along her two Siamese cats, C and M. Sarah dislikes dogs and prohibits Lady from seeing the baby. Later, the cats destroy the house and pin the deed on Lady by pretending she injured them. Sarah takes Lady to the pet shop and has a muzzle put on her. Lady panics and flees to the street, where she is pursued by 3 savage dogs until Tramp intervenes to protect her. Tramp takes Lady to the zoo to have the muzzle removed by Beaver. He then shows Lady his own owner-free lifestyle, and they explore the town. The kindly proprietor of Tony's restaurant gives them a spaghetti dinner to share. Before they end the evening with a walk in the park. The next day, Trent tries to convince Lady to live footloose and collar-free with him. Despite liking Tramp, she decides her duty is to watch over the baby. As Tramp escorts Lady home, he stops to chase some chickens. The dog catcher pursues them both, but only Lady is caught. At the pound, she meets Peg, Ball, and some other strays, who all know Tramp. They reveal that he has had many girlfriends in the past and claim that females are his weakness. Sarah comes to claim Lady and chains her in the backyard as punishment for running away. Jock and Trusty propose to let Lady should marry and come live with one of them to escape the abuse, but she gently refuses them. When Tramp arrives to apologize Lady, she berates him and for his many girlfriends and sends him away. 2. Afterwards, Lady notices a large rat sneaking into the house through the baby's bedroom window. Her attempts to alert Sarah fail, but Tramp hears her barking, returns and enters the house. himself to save the baby. Lady breaks her chain and follows soon after. Tramp is wounded in the battle with the rat, but manages to kill it behind the curtain. During the struggle, the baby's crib overturns and he begins to cry. Sarah comes to investigate and assumes the dog's attacked by the baby. Jim Dear and Darling return home to find that Sarah has locked Lady in the cellar and handed Tramp over to the dog catcher to be euthanized. Disbelieving Sarah's story, Jim Dear frees Lady, who immediately shows them the dead rat. Overhearing the truth, Jock and Trusty pursued the dog catcher's cart and tried to stop it. The horses spook, causing the cart to crash. Jim Dear and Darling arrived with Lady to rescue. Tramp but Trusty is badly injured in the wreck. Later, at Christmas time, Tramp has become an official part of the family, and he and Lady have 4 little puppies of their own. Jock and a mostly healed Trusty visit the family. The puppies now provide Trusty a new audience for his own old stories, but he has forgotten them, much to his and everyone else's amusement. Alright, on Friday, we will be doing Peter Pan 1953 film. Here's a plot in this film. In Edwardian London, George and Mary Darlings preparations to attend a party are disrupted by the antics of their boys, John and Michael, who are acting out a Peter Pan story told them by their elder sister, Wendy. Irritated, George demands that Wendy drop the stories and move out of the nursery, since sooner or later people have to grow up. Later that night, Peter himself arrives in the nursery to find his lost shadow. He persuades Wendy to come to Neverland, where she will never have to grow up, and she and the boys lie there with the begrudging help of the pixie Tinkerbell. A ship of pirates is anchored off Neverland, led by Captain Hook and his first mate, Mr. Smee. Hook wants revenge on Peter for cutting off his hand, but fears the crocodile which consumed the hand, knowing it is eager to eat the rest of him. When Pan and the Darlings arrive, Hook shoots at them with a cannon, and Peter sends the Darlings off to safety while he baits the pirates. Tinkerbell, who is jealous of Pan's attention to Wendy, convinces the Lost Boys that Pan has ordered them to shoot down Wendy. Tinkerbell's treachery is soon found out, and Peter banishes her. John and Michael set off with the Lost Boys to find the island's Native Americans. However, the natives capture the group, believing them to be responsible for taking the chief's daughter, Tiger Lily. Meanwhile, Peter takes Wendy to see the mermaids, who flee in terror. When Hook arrives on the scene, Peter and Wendy see that Hook and Miss Smee have captured Tiger Lily to force her to disclose Peter's hideout. Peter frees Tiger Lily and returns her to the chief, and the tribe honors Peter. Meanwhile, Hook takes advantage of Tinkerbell's jealousy of Wendy, tricking the fairy into revealing Peter's secret hideout. Wendy and her brothers eventually grow homesick and plan to return to London. They invite Peter and the Lost Boys to join them and be adopted by the Darlings. The Lost Boys agree, but Peter does not want to grow up and refuses. The pirates lie in wait and captures the Lost Boys and the Darlings as he exits the lair, leaving behind the time bomb to kill Peter. Tinkerbell learns of the plot just in time to snatch the bomb from Peter as it explodes. Peter rescues Tinkerbell from the rubble, and together they rescue Wendy, confronting the pirates and releasing the children before they can walk the plank. And Peter engages Hook in combat as the children fight off the crew and defeats him. Hook falls into the sea and swims away. Pursued by the crocodile, Peter commandeers the deserted ship and, assisted by Tinkerbell's tricksy dust, flies into London with the children aboard. George and Mary, darling, return home from the party and find Wendy sleeping at the nursery's open window. Wendy awakens and excitedly tells about their adventures. The parents look out the window and see what appears to be a pirate ship on the clouds. George, who has softened his position about Wendy staying in the nursery, recognizes the ship from his own childhood. All right, that's all the streaming services we got. So second, we will be doing the new adventures of Little Mermaid. I'll find this something. Nah, couldn't have happened. Oh, it's just a TV series. Here we go. Okay, here we are. Where are the episodes? Oh, there you are. Tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, we are doing Way of the Tail by September 11, 1992. Ariel becomes friends with and adopts a baby killer whale named Spot, who that was separated from his family because of human poachers. She, Flounder, and eventually Sebastian try to keep Spot's existence a secret, but eventually King Triton finds out when Spot crashes Sebastian's spring performance. King Triton insists that he be sent away once he has been taught how to survive on his own. Ariel, Sebastian, and Flounder try to get this friendly Spot to act aggressively, but to no avail. The solution rears its ugly head when sharks attack Ariel and her friends, prompting about Spot to find the courage to save Ariel and defeat the sharks. In the end, Spot is reunited with his pod and says a fond goodbye to Ariel. Notes: this is a pilot episode. The title is a reference to Way of a Tale from the film 2000 Leagues Under the Sea. Music: Just a Little Love, performed by Jody Benson, and You've Got to Be You, performed by Samuel A. Wright. Alright, that's all the TV series we got. So third, we will be doing the shorts of Felix the Cat. I'll show you where Felix the Cat has been. Here's Felix the Cat filmography. It's made by Short Film. Paramount Pictures 1919 to 1921. So, the first 25 Felix cartoons were distributed to theaters by Paramount Pictures. The character was named Master Tom until the adventures of Felix. In the short, they say, Felix, then known as Master Tom, in his first screen appearance, Feline Follies, 1919. Feline Follies, in the view, they say, you can only see archives in there. Let's try Feline Follies, okay? This is on the video, but I cannot show you. It is just a silent film. Well, let's see. Felix, at this point known as Master Tom, a male black cat, meets a female white cat. He serenades his new love interest and announces his intention to devote his 9 lives to her. Felix singing wakes up in the entire neighborhood. Later back at home, a group of mice proceed to eat all the food in Felix's house. When his owner arrives a little while later and sees scraps of food everywhere, she throws Felix out of the house, not knowing it was the mice who did it. Now homeless, Felix goes to live with his love interest, only to find out she is the mother. and Felix is not the father of a large litter of kittens. In reaction, Felix runs towards the local gasworks and commits suicide by intentionally inhaling coal gas. Alright, that's all the shorts we got. So number 4, we will be doing the anime, but I can't show you, but it's Bofuri. I'll show you Bofuri. Bofuri. Here we are. It's about time for a story, so yeah. In episode 1, they say defense and first battle. At the behest of her friend, Risa Shiramane, Kaide Honjo begins playing the virtual reality MMORPG New World Online, not wanting to get hurt. Kaide creates a shield-wielding avatar named Maple and puts all of her skill points towards defense. Although this leaves her with low speed and weak attack, her high defense allows her to earn new abilities and extra skill points for defense simply by letting enemies attack her. After meeting Kuromu, the shielder of Iz the Crafter, Maple decides to go to a dungeon to face against the powerful poison dragon. Using potions given to her by Kuromu, Maple manages to withstand the dragon's poisonous attacks long enough to develop a complete immunity to poison, allowing her to defeat the dragon by eating it. As a result, she not only gains the poison dragon's abilities, but also a one-of-a-kind set of equipment. Alright, that's all I got for today. Let's do some work now.